Okay, today I'm going to go out and it's absolutely freezing down here today, but whatever. It's not for the weekend warriors, I'm sure, but us hardcore fishermen, this is nothing. It's about 0 degrees at the marina. I want to go and test this new prop that I've got. I've put a 13 pitch on there. I had a 15 on before, but weren't really getting much more than about 5,400 revs. So the rule of thumb is you drop down a pitch and that gives you about 200 revs more. So if I put a 13 on, maybe that should be about on the money, but we'll have a look. Pips in there, warming, we've got the diesel heater blaring. So yeah, and I want to try this new transducer out, so I'm going to go round in a minute, get the 8 o'clock lock. Okay, I'm in the lock now. I had a little bit of a mishap coming in here, not my finest landing, but there you go, I'm still here. Now I'm going to go out under Beachy Head, I think, today, and I'm going to try this transducer. I may flick onto a reef just to see what the images I get from it, but I may well chuck a line in. I think it'd be rude not to, so I'm just getting the life jacket on. I'm out on my own today, just me and Pip, so I always have this on, my personal location beacon, just in case. It's better to be safe than sorry. It's freezing. Right, I've just come out of the lock. I'm just coming through the harbour mouth now, through the safe buoys, and then I'll get the buoys in and get inside in the warm, and then head out. I'm going to probably flip onto a reef, the Horse of Willingdon, and I should get some good images from that with the transducer, but it's looking well impressive at the minute. Okay, I've just come out the and tested the prop. I don't really want to get it up because the dog doesn't like the speed, but I got it up to about 30 knots on full throttle, trimmed about right, and it seemed to, well, it was doing 5, 9 and then blipping on to 6, and then I heard the engine cutting out a bit, so it's over. I've gone down too much. Probably a 14 would work well, but to be honest with you, I think that the one I had on was fantastic. It was a stainless steel and loads of thrust on it, and even though I wasn't really getting much more than, I don't think, 5, 6, which is fine, the fuel consumption was amazing. I was getting sort of 22, 24 litres an hour, which is not much different to my Wilson. So I'm on autopilot now. I'm heading out to the Horse of Willingdon. Okay, these are some of the images I'm seeing coming across this Horse of Willingdon. It's pretty impressive. You can see there I've got fish down, big ball of fish down there. I think I'm going to throw a lure down while I'm messing about, but I do want to try and get some footage. But it's just amazing, the clarity compared to the I had an in-hull one, and I think because the boat's laid up quite thick, the fiberglass, it was never showing a great image, but this is something else. We're rocking about a bit, but I'm super impressed, and let me just go onto the sonar page, and you can, I had to put my gloves on, it's freezing, so more options. So if we switch a pallet, I don't operate very well with my gloves on, but that's it. So I can switch these pallets around. It's quite a funky one. I normally go on this one, which gives me a decent image, but yeah, I'm super impressed with it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to head out to this hole now, because I believe it'll be slack water around about 1 o'clock, so I want to get a couple of hours in fishing, so I'll see how I get on. Well, I've got the heater blaring, and as you can see, the best place on the boat, Pip, is there. It's lovely and warm in here. It's not so warm when you get out, so I'm going to go down and go onto this place at Beachy Head and chuck the pick in and see how we get on. On the sounder, as I'm leaving that mark, seems to be quite a few there, so let's just have a look. I'm going to go into this hole at Beachy Head, but just as I've come across that copper shoals, I'm blipping quite a few fish. What they are, I don't know, but I'll have a look there, and then I'll decide whether to chuck the, where to chuck the anchor. But ideally, if I was fishing this hole without ground bait, I'd anchor on the top of it and then let the boat drift over to the hole. But obviously, with the oil and that, then the tide's going to take the oil right across the top of me and miss my bait. So ideally, I want to sort of anchor right in that hole so that the tide will wash that oil, the scent, over to my baits. But yeah, I'm going to have a look and see, see how I get on here, see if there's any fish showing there. If not, I may well go back to that copper shoal and have a go there. Now I'm just dropping into this hole now. As you can see, I've gone into like 105 foot of water. I was marking a load of fish here, which is just on the edge of that hole. But there does seem to be a few fish in here, so I'm at a bit of dilemma really. Like I said, really, I didn't come out to fish too much, but you know me, any opportunity to put a line in the water, I will. As you can see, I'm running up a bank now, and I'm hoping to anchor my boat about here and drop back into that bank. Seems to be showing quite a few fish there, but I'll say what they are, I don't know. So I'll just let the boat, see, look, you can see the fish there now, there's a ball of them, but whether that's mackerel or not, I don't know. So I'm going to see where I'm facing the way that I would anchor, so hopefully my boat will drift back. I've put a little mark in there where I was blipping fish, so this is just one I found on this chart, so I'm just going to try it, I think. Just let the boat settle, and as you can see, there's my ebb and flood. That's how the tide runs when I'm north up. So obviously I'm here, so if wind and tide do what they're supposed to do, I should come back roughly on that blue mark I've just put in there. But let's see, I want to see the bank coming up. And okay, today I'm going to use 2 Daiwa Kanzakis with 10 fathom 15 reels, and I use 30-pound braid, and I always use like a 30-pound fluorocarbon leader, and I'm just literally going to use a running ledger trace. Probably today get away with 8 ounces. So I'm just going to use a simple trace today. I'm going to use Cox and Rule 8.0 hooks because I want to put quite a bit of bait on, and I'm going to use a cheap leader really. Okay, so I've got some frozen mackerel, squid, and I've got some frozen lug, and as I say, I'm going to throw this, pierce a load of holes in this with my baiting needle, cable tie it to my anchor, and then hopefully that will let the scent come out and attract the fish. So we'll have a try. I'm going to do squid and lug on one, I think, and then perhaps put, I don't know, a mackerel fillet on, and hopefully we'll get some whiting or cod. Okay, on my first one I'm going to, this is the setup I'm using, just a boom, 12-ounce lead, and I've just literally cut a frozen mackerel in half on a 8.0 Cox and Rule hook. So I'm going to chuck that over. As I said, I've got the anchor set now, and I'm in a reasonable place. There was quite a few fish showing earlier, but I'll just chuck it over and have a try. Right, on the other one, I was going to do all this fancy wrapping up with my bait and elastic and everything else, but it's freezing, so I think I'm just going to hook a squid on there and see how I get on for now. It's my fingers are freezing. I want to get in there with that heater. The dog has got it well sussed, so I'm just literally going to lift the squid on here, so through his head, back down on itself, and that's just on a 6.0 Cox and Rule. That's how I'm presenting it today. And now literally it's just a waiting game. see what's out there. As I said, I've got a nice scent trail running. I think it's key, you know, Rubby Dubby or you know, this oil. I'm quite impressed with it. It seems to be working for me. I know definitely when I was tope fishing, and the other week I did some bull husk fishing, and that was it seemed to be epic. I've got a little inquiry on that one, so let's hope we can get something today. Right, I'm just going to go in and warm up. Got a lovely diesel heater on there. They're cheap as chips, really. I was going to get this posh Aspacha. I think they're about 600 quid, but I've just got a cheap Chinese one, £115 on Amazon, and they work brilliantly. I've got it set on a thermostat, 21 degrees, and it just kicks in and out. But I don't think you'll see the dog on the video today because she's curled up in there. Okay, now I've got my bait spoon. I'm just wrapping a mackerel fillet and squid and a couple of well, free frozen lug. So I'll just wrap this round this. It's quite effective actually to keep big baits on. So I'm going to wrap this round, and I've already put the hook through, see, so I just made another trace up, so it's just ready to put straight on. So I'll wrap that up like that, right round the hook. You can actually make these up out of like a 2-inch drain pipe, plastic drain pipe, and cut it in half and keep the round end on, and then I used to wrap it up and then put a broken broom handle through there to push it out. But I mean, I got these and these seem great, but I mean, for a cheap version, literally if you cut a 2-inch drain pipe down, you know, soil pipe down, it does exactly the same thing. So look, there's the bait, quite presentable. And I'm just going to bring this one in. This is the one I had half a mackerel on. But yeah, like I thought, nothing on it, so it's not a lot of good being out there like that. So it's always best to check your bait, you know, sort of rule of thumb, you know, sometimes every 15-20 minutes just check your bait to make sure it's still on there. Ideally with the with frozen bait it gets a bit mushy, so it's good to whip it on, and then it won't get pulled off. You know, sometimes crabs in the summer get it, but hopefully this this one will attract them. It's so cold I can't get my clips on the finger. Right, so there you go, that 4-foot trace, and I'll try that. What I do is I'll let the bait go out in the tide, so it doesn't get tangled, and let it down quite slowly so it doesn't get tangled. And then what I do is I let it hit the bottom, and then I'll let about 5 foot of line out, just so it's not tight. So we're in what are we in here? 65 foot. So I've just hit the bottom now. So what I normally do is just lift it up like that, put the bail arm on, and you're there, and then that's so it's not tied to the boat all the time. Yeah, again, I'm out there with bare hooks, so you do need to check these. You know, what I'm going to do now is just do the same as I did with the other one, is whip the bait on so it doesn't fall off or get pulled off. Well, I'm having all sorts of fun and games today. The GoPros keep cutting themselves out. I've got condensation on that one. Oh, God knows. It's all going pear-shaped. Well, I have had a dogfish, and I'll take that. And I had that cocktail bait on there, quite a big one with an 8/0 hook. And when the dogfish dropped, there was like a little pouting on there, and it dropped it. So I've just left the pouting on, and we'll see how we get on with that one. But a small inquiry on this one, so we'll just see. But yeah, the GoPros are driving me crazy today. Now the rod over the back here has got the live pouting on. Seems to be getting a little bit of an inquiry. Just going to let a bit of slack line out. I say sometimes just literally slacking off the line a little bit. Or sometimes if you get a bait, just lifting it up slightly. I know for place fishing, they tend to, you know, it's like taking their bone away and they grab it. But thought I had a small inquiry here. I might rig up a pennel rig. It just holds the bait on better. You only really need, I just really need like a 1/0 hook just to hold the top of the bait on. It's when you're fishing long baits and just one hook, unless you literally stitch the hook through it, it doesn't really stay on. It's not always a good idea to do it the way I do with the spoon. I normally use that way when I'm fishing a pennel, you know. Okay, what I've done now is I've introduced a little, just a little 3/0 eagle claw. It's a coxswain roll as well, so it'll just literally hold that bait on. So if I'm fishing a whole squid, it just holds it in place a bit better to save me threadling this through. Now I've just wrapped another one up, so I've got 3 lug, half a squid and a fillet of mackerel on there. So I pull that off and you'll see I pull that down so that it's just on the point of that hook. But then the advantage of having this, doesn't really matter what hook it is really, all it's doing for me is just holding that bait in place, so it holds it up. So put the hook down there, go around the line a couple of times and then just literally lip it through that fillet, and then what that'll do, that'll just hold that bait in place. That was a whiting I put down, and as you can see I've got a small little dogfish. I think that probably was the same one that took it to start with, so it's got its prize in the end. As much as I love them, I think I'm into another dogfish, so it's time to go, I think. Yeah, another little dogfish. So I think all I'm getting here really is dogfish, and it would be nice to get a whiting, so I'm going to move. I've got a little mark, yeah, beautiful little thing, but I've got a little mark, as I said, a mile offshore, and I'll try that. It's a mud hole, so who knows. Now I'm just steaming off to another mark I've got just outside Eastbourne Pier. You can see the imaging I'm getting up on the sounder. I'm stoked about it. It's super impressive. So there's a mud hole here that I'm going to fish, so I don't know, might get something off it, might not, might be more dogfish, but hey ho, I'd rather be out here than freezing myself off on the building site. I don't even think they started today. And as you can see, there's like an indent there, and that's a mud, like a little mud bank there. You can see it on the sounder, but I've just pulled up because we should still be ebbing. So there's my ebb and my flood, so I'm hoping I'll drift back here. What I'll do is I'll get my drift line first, and then I'll position my anchor, but we've got a few bleeps going on. That's always promising, probably dogfish. But you can start to see where I'm drifting to. And it doesn't look like I'm drifting the way that it should be, but it never does. I think I'm going to drift across here, but if so, then I'll just position myself. To be honest with you, I think wherever I am here, I'm going to be all right. Yeah, can you just see the red line there? If I zoom in a bit, yeah, can you see the red line? That's where I stop, so I'm drifting that way. So I'm not really drifting according to where I want to be. So I reckon if I move myself virtually over to my mark there, I'm going to drift onto this bank. So I'll move myself around, and yeah, I can definitely see where I'm going. So I mean, if I'm going like that, if I get myself in this position here, I should hit this area here, which is like a mud flap. So I'll try that. Okay, I've just anchored up on this mark now where I just about a mile offshore really, not far from Eastbourne Pier. There's a mud flap here, and I've my oil that I put down, even though I put quite a few pinholes in, I hadn't penetrated much, you know, hadn't really came out much, so I've just opened it up a bit with a knife, so that should give me a lot more scent. So I've chucked the anchor in, I'm about really where I want to be, so we'll see. It could be a dogfish fest again, but there you go. Like you say, it's only fishing, you never know what you're going to get. As much as I love them, I think I'm into another dogfish, so it's time to go, I think. Yeah, another little dogfish. So I think all I'm getting here really is dogfish, and it would be nice to get a whiting. So the birds seem to be all around me. I don't know if they know anything more than what I do. So I'm just starting to get a inquiry on that rod. All right, okay, that looks promising. Wow, what a mess. What a mess I got myself in here. So I've got two dogfish on, I've caught both my lines. One's off, fortunately. But yeah, I think it's time to go.